I grew up in the apple business in Michigan. I'm the fourth generation in our family. We settled here in Iowa and ultimately planted this orchard and then acquired Wilson's Orchard just 2 years after that. The diversity of offerings that we have extends to food, prepared foods. We have an event center, and then we have a farm market. We also have a wholesale business. We press sweet cider and we make hard cider. Both of those products, as well as some of our fresh apples, go to local grocers. Sweet cider is more of a thing that we wholesale to retail accounts. The hard cider extends throughout Iowa. Any self-respecting bar and restaurant should have our hard cider. The guy that started Wilson's Orchard, Chug Wilson, did a thing that is remarkably clever and yet rarely incorporated in appledom. He planted an orchard first, 1 tree of this, 2 trees of that, and then he waited for them to mature. He tasted them, and he replanted and grafted stuff that he thought had exceptional flavor. That's what we should be about, is flavor.
We do a couple different types of hard cider. We do some fruited stuff on what we'll call the entry-level end. It's gonna be easy drinking, crushable. Cider's great for a picnic, great for warm weather.
In terms of hard cider and sweet cider, there's a couple of differences between the apples that we use for each. So for sweet cider, we want 3 things. We want sweetness, we want acidity, and we want aroma. And not every apple has each. When we go to hard cider, we're really looking for something different. We do need sugar, and we want some acidity. It just balances it. It doesn't deliver apple flavor.
The one thing that we don't get a lot in the culinary fruit when we're making cider is tannins. So we, about 5 years ago, planted a part of the orchard that we call the cider block that is specifically these hard cider varietals that the only reason these apples exist is to make alcohol. They are horrible eating apples, horrible baking apples, but great alcohol apples. After picking the fruit, the harvest crew will sort them in different grades for the markets, for our bakery, and then we get the dregs basically for the juice and hard cider. After pressing, what doesn't get jugged up for the markets, we'll go ahead and throw in our fermenters, add our yeast, do some acidity changes usually will have to be done, but get that fermentation rolling. Generally speaking, we want to run pretty low temps, right around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the yeast get a little bit closer to being done, we'll raise that temp up, rouse the tank, make sure that yeast come up, and they'll actually eat their own byproducts and then crash them out. After fermentation's done, we'll let it rest for around 4 weeks. After that, it's usually up for different blends for our flagship products, some specialty lines that we're doing. Our cider rests anywhere from a few weeks to some of it's over a year, depending the fruit and depending on what we want to do with it. And it's packaged up and shipped out. There's a couple different challenges in cider making. We're very similar to making wine. All of our sugars are readily available, whereas in brewing, you have to create the sugars by the brewing process. But with that comes a lot of nuances with microflora, bacteria, and whatnot. If you're not doing clean ferments, proper fermentation temps, proper yeast nutrition, you're setting yourself up for a world of hurt. Hard cider is, while it's started certainly in the UK and Europe, it has a really deeply rooted American tradition that we're trying to bring back. As the homesteaders went across the West, it wasn't called a homestead unless you had apple trees planted. And at that time, with that knowledge of appledom, those apples were crap eating, but they definitely made some good alcohol. Hard stop, B-roll.